Okay. So one thing I need to mention is, do you see, make sure we're all on the same page here before I kind of should pull up my example. Do you see that here's a number in scientific notation, 4.56 times 10 to the 7th, and here's a number in scientific notation, 6.7 times 10 raised to the 12th power. So we have two numbers. Now the thing that's a little bit different here is we've got, they in big parentheses. Now, if you see 2 or 3 or 4 numbers strung up in parentheses like that, what we call the order of operation, or the mathematical operation that I need you to do, is multiplication. Okay. So let's take a look at, I think I can just pull this up here. Let's take a look at how we would do this. Hold that thought. Okay. So we're doing this as an example. We've got here in purple, let's see, how did I do this? Actually, here in orange, I say what your keystroke should be. So calculator, what do you need to put in? Well, you're going to put the coefficient of first number, 4.56. You're going to hit your EE, EXP, or SCI key, and then you're going to hit the number 7. That's it. And then your calculator knows that it's a number packed up in scientific notation. The next thing you need to tell it is what you're going to do here. And so the thing you're going to do is multiply. So on your calculator, you're going to hit the times or the multiplication button. That's it. Notice one of the things, and I see this with students sometimes, is you don't have to put the number that's packed up in scientific notation. You don't have to put that number in parentheses. So then we're ready to focus on the second number. We're going to enter in the coefficient, 6.7. We're going to find our EE, EXP, or SCI key, and then it's ready to receive the power of 10. And the power of 10 here actually is the number 12. So that's it. And so we've entered two numbers in scientific notation. The mathematical operation is multiplication. We're almost done. On our calculator, we need to find the equals or enter key. Now, there's a good chance, and I went ahead and did this in my calculator ahead of time, there's a good chance that your calculator will have to pack it up in scientific notation. And it's like I was saying a little bit ago, if you see that E there, that basically is saying to the left of that E is the coefficient, the decimal number, and to the right of the E is the power of 10. So I've kind of unpacked that for you. Now, one thing I want to do before I leave this example is to talk a little bit about rounding. Now, I'm not going to be real anal about kind of giving you a hard time how you round numbers, but I do want to kind of get you used to thinking about rounding numbers, lopping them off. So this is what my calculator displayed. Okay. Now, since we're multiplying, there's a rule for multiplying and dividing, and then there's a rule for adding and subtracting. Now, this here in blue, and I'll kind of try to hit this as we go along, but this says if both of these numbers that I'm multiplying together, if there is uncertainty in those, if those numbers are uncertainty, the opposite of uncertain numbers are exact numbers. So if there's wiggle room, kind of a little bit of play in those measurements, which there usually is, then I need to round according to the fewest number of digits. So here we go. This is what this looks like. So I count digits with the coefficient. So I have 3 digits on the first number, and I have 2 digits on the second number. So guess what? I am only allowed 2 digits in my answer. So now I turn my attention to what my calculator spit back, and I basically start from left to right, and I can only take 2 digits. So I'm going to take the digit in the ones and the digit in the tenths place. Okay, and actually this rounding that I'm showing you is how scientists, say universally, have to handle it to be actually accurate and be telling the truth. So I'm going to take those first 2 digits, but notice then after the tenths place and the hundredths place is a 5 this time. Now maybe you've run into this before, but if that digit beyond where I'm going to truncate it, if it's 5 or greater, then I need to lift up or raise up the digit before it. So that means then the coefficient is going to be, instead of 3.0, it's 3.1, okay? And we go ahead and carry times 10 to the 20th power. So I hope that helps. And again, I'm not going to give you necessarily a hard time, but I'm going to we're going to work on rounding. And this idea of rounding according to fewest digits only works if what you're doing is multiplying and dividing. And it only works if there's uncertainty in those numbers that you're multiplying and dividing. And we'll see some examples coming up where if they're exact numbers, then you don't take them in consideration when you round. All right. So back to how I go back. Okay. So we did that one. The next one, I guess I could have just pulled it up. The next one I wanted to do together is this one. You should have it on your slides. I'm going to pull it up. I already did it ahead of time. And I love this program. This program is called Doceri, and I'm just kind of stuck on it in a good way. There it is. Okay. I like it because I can do these builds ahead of time and then just push a play button basically. So I'm not going to belabor this one too much, but again there's a little bit of a twist. We've got two numbers in parentheses. Again, those numbers in parentheses strung together means that we're multiplying across the board. So the first one, I say calculator, put in your coefficient 3.12, find your EE, SCI or EXP key, hit that, and then hit the power of 10. So hit 6. Okay, and then like we did before, we're ready to go ahead and on our calculator hit the multiply button, and then we need to tell it the second number. Now the catch here is that second number is a small number. So the coefficient, we put that in 5.559. We hit our EE or EXP key, and then we need to go ahead and say negative 27. And actually there's a couple of ways of doing that. You can hit the plus minus key and then 27, or this calculator that I've been using recently, you hit a negative sign in parentheses and then the 27 for your exponent. Once you're done entering that second number to be multiplied by the first number, then you go ahead and hit your enter or your equals key and you're done. So I'll tell you, if you do that, and I would encourage you to do that, your calculator will display something like this: 1.734408 E negative 20. All right? So again, what does that mean? It means 1.734408 times 10 raised to the negative 20th power. Very good. So let's go ahead and round this. And so remember we said to round it, what you do to round what your calculator displays, actually you need to go back up to what you multiplied together. So we're going to round according to fewest digits. So we have 3 digits on the first one number, and we have 4 digits in the coefficient of the last one. So it looks like we need to round according to 3 digits. So it would look like this. I'm going to keep the first 3, so I'm going to keep the number in the, this is the coefficient, the number in the ones place, the number in the tenths, the number in the hundredths. So now in this case, since the 4, which is where I'm going to lop off, since it's less than 5, I'm not going to round the number that's in the tenths place. I'm just going to leave it like that. So it looks like this. Final answer is a coefficient of 1.73 times 10 raised to the negative 20th power. Well, my decimals aren't showing up very good, so I hope we're all okay with that. Decimal right there. All right. So you knew it was coming. It's your turn. So this is one that you should have in your lecture slides, and I want you to go ahead and grab your calculator, however you're going to do this, and answer this question. What would be the product if you multiplied these two numbers are in scientific notation, so 4.09 times 10 to the minus 5th times 5.4 times 10 to the negative 30th. So I would encourage you to go ahead and do that and round appropriately, and you can either write that number down and bring it to lab and show me, or stay tuned and answer it on the video.